make you co-host for the session, sir.
Ma'am, I'll be doing the comparing for this webinar.
Yes, sure, ma'am. I'm just waiting for the speaker, for the sir to join. Yes,
Ma'am, I have connected, ma'am.
yes. Welcome, sir.
Welcome. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I already been
Yes,
in the meeting, ma'am. I have joined.
yes. Thank you so much, sir. So I welcome all, and this session is also live on the YouTube our channel. We have shared the link with all of you, and we will share that link in the chat also that you can share with all other students on your network. They can join in the meeting also, but we have limited it till the opening so that it's not disturbing in between the session. Yes. Shall I start now? Yes. So good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of IITM, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, EICP Center, that is Environment Information Awareness, Capacity Building and Livelihood Program, and EICP Center at Pondicherry Pollution Control Committee, Pondicherry. It's my pleasure to extend a warm welcome to all of you for the occasion of Global Recycling Day, that is today, 18th March. EICP Centers is a scheme supported by MoEF&CC, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Today, we all gather here to engage in a meaningful dialogue on the concept on understanding the ecosystem of recycling, both technology-wise as well as informal sector. This session aims to bridge the gap between research, innovation, and grassroots action, highlighting how technology and informal sector separately as well as collaboratively can create a more sustainable and circular future, which is the very need of the hour. We are all talking about circular economy, how the linear economy is no longer useful approach to make the items or the concept of product like LCA. We are honored to host Dr. Sudalai S, Assistant Professor at the Center for Pollution Control and Environmental Engineering, Pondicherry University. And our second session speaker is Dr. Manvi Singh, Research Coordinator at CARE, that is Center for the Applied Research Environment, Poornam Ecovision Foundation, Pune. This is one of the oldest, is one of the, not oldest, but yes, one of the most grassroots innovative NGO in the Pune, which is working for the recycling sector, getting for e-waste, cloth, paper, everything, and making them into value-added products. They will share their expertise and insights, their work, and the both session speakers have their will share their work, which shows a critical intersection of scientific research, policy, and on-ground solution in the recycling system. We look forward to have engagement from all the participants trying to solve their queries and questions, making it an interactive session. And once again, I have a warm welcome to everyone. And I now hand over to the session to Pondicherry coordinator to making the first session of our seminar today, webinar. Thank you. Over to you, Rohit from Pondicherry University. Any questions from the participant we can take up in the chat box as well as at the end of the session, both first and second.
Shall we start the
Ritesh
session
from
or
this.
yeah?
Yes, sir. Sir, we have with us our partner organizations ready to start. Like we will be starting with the introduction about our speakers.
Fine.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm pleased to welcome Dr. Sudalai, our speaker today. He is the Assistant Professor at the Center for Pollution Control and Environmental Engineering, Pondicherry University. With over 15 years of experience spanning both industry and academia, he has begun his professional journey as a senior design engineer at L&T before moving into teaching and research. Over the years, he has built deep expertise in environmental sustainability, contributing significantly to both academic and applied domains. His teaching and research over a wide range of environmental concepts include air and noise pollution control, solid waste management, environmental impact assessment, citizen science, and circular economy. With this research area being control of all kinds of pollution and environmental sustainability, and also circular economy, he has numerous publications in reputed international journals such as renewable energy, carbohydrate polymers, and environmental science and pollution research. He has also made notable contributions to national level projects addressing critical environmental challenges such as plastic leakage and occupational health hazards of street sweepers. In addition, he has authored books and chapters with Elsevier and holds 2 patents, reflecting his commitment to innovation and practical solutions. His work has also widely been recognized through several prestigious accolades, including Sir Gangaram Memorial Award, Best Paper Awards, and a State Award for Electoral Excellence for his contributions to carbon accounting during national elections. Beyond academia, he actively engages himself in policy support, public outreach, and community initiatives, including national workshops, government advisory and roles, and environmental campaigns such as beach cleanups. Sir, we extend a very warm welcome for your valuable insights and experience that you'll be sharing with us today. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, Balaji, and the team. Shall we proceed with the session?
Yes, sir. Just your voice is
Yes, sir.
little low, maybe for me.
Okay. Am I audible right now?
Yeah, I'm better, sir.
Fine, fine. Where should I share my thing? Okay. So I share my entire screen so
Yes,
that it won't create any problem. Yeah. So I'll start the session right this moment. Yeah. I hope my screen is visible to all.
yes, sir. It's
Hello.
visible, sir.
Yeah.
It just, I think I will take a minute to settle, but yeah, that's it.
Okay. If everything is well, then I'll start the session.
Yes, if you can make it full screen, yeah, that's okay, sir. It's coming fine.
Fine. So thanks for this opportunity. We are being at Global Recycle Day. IITM, Indian Institution of Meteorology, and Pondicherry Pollution Control Committee, the Envy Centers, both joined together as organize this day. It's a good opportunity for me to discuss about the recycling status, especially in the Indian scenario, why we require recycling, and what are the technological opportunities we have. So all these things we'll try to touch upon. So I divide the presentation based upon the responses, since I was being told that there will be interaction with yet another organization. So I was preparing the slides accordingly. The first one is talking about the introduction. Why should we go for recycle? And what we forgotten and what we need to remember, and those part will be there in the first part. The second part will be discussing more exclusively on the recycling opportunities. So for which I invite some questions so that accordingly I can take any sections like food or organic, biodegradable, non-biodegradable. So whichever the discussion goes accordingly, I will proceed with the session. So I'm okay with any case studies. So the second part will be on your choice. First part will be on a regular basis. So this is how I designed the session. I hope it's in consensus. In case if it is not, then we will alternate it accordingly. So I have yet another resource person on the same domain. So I designed it accordingly. So thank you once again. I'll start the session at this moment. So to begin with, I wish to go with a statement from Tirukkural, which talks about the sustainability. ஏற்றலும் ஈட்டலும் காத்தலும் காத்த வகுத்தலும் வல்லது அரசு. It means it's a wonderful Tirukkural which says what is the role of a country. The country should earn, and also what are all the resources it's earning, and it should store it, and it should also disseminate that for needy people. So this is the big definition or big role for the government. They should earn, and should they restore, and they should distribute it. So this is very important for sustainability. And what is resources? This particular literature is more than 2000 years old, and there itself they said about the water resources. The second Tirukkural is about the resources. So it is saying, இருப்புணலும் வாய்த்த மலையும் வருப்புணலும் வல்லரணும் நாட்டிற்குறப்பு. What it means is there are two water resources. One surface, other one is the groundwater, and this is very precious resources. Other one is the mountain, and from the mountain the water which comes. So these are the strongest resources for any particular country. This has been documented 2000 years before. So it means that the importance of conserving the resources is not a new concept because of the crisis, but even 2000 years before the statement was established. So it is a cyclic process where we exploit the resources. There we need a literature, there we need a wisdomic talks about the conservation, about the strategies to conserve. So I just trying to remind you that these discussions are not new for this era, Earth. It has been cyclic, happening every gap. And last one is very important. Urupasiyum, Uapiniyum, Serupagayum, Sera Ielvadu Nadu. What it means is, in this particular contemporary, it is very important. It means you have to protect your people from poverty, and you should avoid any kind of disagreement with nearby country. So this is in this particular context, especially we are surrounded by clouds of war. The Tirukkural which says very clearly, you have to take care of your own people from starvation. You have to feed them a food, and also you should have a good relations with your neighbor. So these all together gives the definition of governance. Why we talk about governance in the recycling? Because our resources are depleting. When the resources are depleting, it's our prime role to distribute the resources and restore the resources. In this context, the role of governance is very, very important. So I just quoted this three verse from the Tirukkural. And the other one is from Thiruvarutpa, which says, every creature have its own rights to live in the earth. So by any process, if you disturb them, then that is not the integrity, that's not the right integrity we follow, and we should restore it to make the earth livable for everyone. With this introduction, I just go into the session. It's a short recap of what happened in the past, learning from the past, building resilience through lessons of lost civilization. The word itself says that the pictures, what all the things you are seeing here, the one is the sunken land, and other is the Arikemedu from our own Pondicherry, and the third one is Yari. So these three components are being depicted in this slide to remember or to remind you that our well-established civilization is under the earth, which is already entered into the soil. So the other part of the slide shows some of the water bodies. It shows that people still remember their forefathers who been taken by the natural calamity. Still now they believe that taking their ashes and mixing that with the river will take them to the past. So people are afraid of water resources, I mean, afraid of calamities, flooding. So they started worshipping God in that sense. Why I'm bringing this here? When the resources are not optimally used, in case of natural calamity, the entire humankind will get disturbance. So to remember that, I just shown this picture, and there are several literatures being documented on this region. This is also another example. We have wonderful systems. You can see the tube wells where they call Urai. They have water storage facilities in the past. They have multi-storage building in the past. All such things are totally under soil. And these are the multi-storage buildings. which is documented in the Harappa civilization. So I try to bring you an idea. We are already having a wonderful infrastructure. We have optimally used the resources, but now the problem is we are not existing at this moment. All the civilization has lost. Now we are starting again from the Stone Age and the Iron Age and all such things. So now the presentation will discuss about the sustainability, then we will move on to the solid waste, then we will go to the plastic waste, then we will discuss about circularity, then we will discuss about case studies based upon the discussions. So the very basic idea is when we grow, the human well-being is to be counted. When we are counting that, the issue is we are degrading the environment. So the moment we say that we have been growing, then it indicates that we are degrading our environmental resources. So we require a complete decoupling from the development to the resource depletion. Am I with you all? Balaji, can you give a feedback? Am I with you? If everything is going well, then I can proceed. Balaji and Simpisi, both of you. Hello?
Yes, sir, that's going well, sir.
Fine, fine. Okay. So we need to decouple the resource and resource depletion, and we should also reduce the impact so that this growth can be sustained without the negative flow of the environmental resources. For that reason, we have to go for recycling. We call it as now new terms come up with urban mining with the e-waste, and many other terms are coming up. So the resources earlier we have been using and we have been discarding, so the environmental impact is keep on increasing. So we have to reduce this gap between the improvement and the environmental degradation. So that is the purpose and for which we are having this day called recycling global recycling day. So what are all the problems we have? We are growing in numbers, our family is getting widened, we are getting more people to live in the same world. So the population is one factor. Second factor is the economical development and increasing global trade. We started selling everything. We have been developing business ideas, and every resource is being monetized and it's been commercialized, and that leads to huge depletion of the resources. Then increasing consumption of the biomass. We have been consuming huge amount of resources in the terms of biomasses. So the biomass which is actually require nature's contributions, or we are overloading, overshooting the capacity of the natural systems. Then growing middle class with a changing consumption pattern. So when you are feeling that you are a rich, you are indicated by the resources we use and the resources we are deplete. So all these trends become the driver for the lack of sustainability or depletion of the resources. Sorry for being more theoretical. I wish to begin with this kind of discussion so that we can have a comfortable understanding of why should we go for recycling, where and all we have the hope. The major issue with the previous one, the resource depletion, the outcome was climate change. As I shown you in the past, land being taken away by the water or even the air, the the disproportions of five elements like water, air, and fire, soil, and space, the disproportions was made by us because of our greediness, because our overproduction, over extraction of resources. The five elements got disturbed. And because of the disturbance, we all studied about the Le principle in a basic chemistry. When the system is in equilibrium, if any sudden disturbance taken place to the equilibrium, then the system fight back to attain the equilibrium. So due to very similar to that, due to the huge disturbance we create to the Earth system, the earth system trying to restore its balance. So that restoration process has created a lot of wounds, a lot of hurts to the humankind. So what are all the first one is a relocation of whole town itself. There are several cases we started witnessing. The town was totally barren, or it is not able to feed the people. So we celebrate it as a zero waste day. It is in a wrong note, I said, but we call it as a zero day where we don't have any resources to live. So there are towns being shut down because of lack of resources. Then shrinking productivity of harvest because of the climate change. The harvest is also been shrinking, and price of the basic foodstuffs and consumer goods is started rising, and extreme meteorological phenomena which is causing a widespread poverty around the global communities. And the disease spreads due to the higher temperature. Then freshwater scarcity is again a big issue. Then more warfare for water resources, for natural resources being started coming up. We are witnessing all such things. Then the loss of capacity of work due to the heat waves. And the last one is the coastal adaptation, money being spent and politics behind that, and people a repercussion for the adaptations. If one community is getting adapted, other communities on vulnerability. So all these things made us to believe that we have to reduce our resources, since we are totally dependent on the resource utilization. We don't have any other choice. If you are not able to compromise our consumption, we have to develop a strategies to restore the resources which is in the use. So what are all the problems we are going to face? One is climate change, other is biodiversity losses, the resource depletion, and these are being pushing another social parameter called inequality. So there are many theoretical things which I wish to really discuss, but time being, I just skip all these things. So the resources, like even if you take a laptop, if you take a mobile, and even if you take a vehicle which you use at this moment, and people are going for more batteries, and where we will get batteries, where there may be some mines where it is going to give you lithium or any cobalt or any other base material. So for all this base material, we cannot call it a sustainable, because we never know where the resources are coming from. To remind you all our batteries mean it starts from some mines, right? So when you are increasing our consumption, most of the mining has to be accelerated due to the mining problems, and the post disposal, the mismanaged disposal of the material leads to severe soil pollution. We have heavy metal pollution all over the globe, and this particular plot shows that 1.4 billion people lives in an area where the soil is dangerously polluted. Especially in India, we have lead pollution in several other places. Perhaps it's maybe due to the battery or any other factors in that concern. So we need to really work on the inventarization of material, where it goes and where it starts, where it ends. If we have that kind of ideology in bringing the material flow in accounting, then there may be a possibility we understand the importance of recycling. So I just got few numbers from the research community, what we have been working, linking the solid waste and climate change, which is a slightly older data, 21 year date, 21 and 22 the data. It again shows 446,000 documents are connected to climate change and solid waste management. It is representing 1.6% of the total document of climate change. And these are the recent document. By morning, I have taken this, the solid waste and sustainability, close to 9,000 documents being published so far. And solid waste and circularity, we have 462 documents. I have chosen these keywords to give an idea. It is not exactly representing what it is. I try to give you a contrast how these resources or these subjects are connected. Like when we talk about climate change, we are more sensitized. We have more than 4 lakh articles, but with the reference of sustainability and the solid waste, our reach is yet to be, we have a lot of potentials, it yet to be fulfilled. And with the circularity, we have a lot more to work. And that's the reason I've shown these 3 or 4 big, graphical representations to you. And for sustainability, India is documenting a lot of publications. It means a lot of work being done. On the circularity, we are ranking 4. So again, we have a lot of potentials to work with the circularity and the sustainability. And interestingly, when you talk about this, the institutions who's working on recycling, who's working on sustainability, is not primarily from India alone. There are world community working on Indian population, Indian resources. It is one way shocking, one way it is a kind of relief someone is working and documenting, but it also shows us that we should develop a knowledge system on recycling, especially the program like GSTP and the NVIS should have in all the verticals, they should develop the information on circularity. And you also to use the citizen science approach for collecting the data. And also we should completely market those data for any policy decisions. So for that intention only, I've shown all these numbers. So right now, in the 2015 year, the Global Resource Panel has made this possible. So it shows that an average by 2005, people were using 9.2 tons of resources per capita annually. Um, there are parities in this. The developing country, which is producing 2 tons of resources, which are using 2 tons of resources, but in the developed country, they were using 30 tons of resources. What I mean to share with you is when you are living your life in the earth, let us assume we reached here in the earth for our like when we go to a hotel, we stay there and we also take some food and we use all the resources in the hotel. For every resources we use in the hotel, they charge us in a very similar fashion. In earth, we enter into our earth and we started living. Let us assume 1 year we have been living, and for the 1 year, how much resources we used is between 210 to 3010. Who is consumed 2 tons? The country which is developing. 30 tons being generated or being consumed by the community who is developed. So this shows how much potential we have in our earth and how much, I mean, how much potential we have to recycle in the earth. So you consider a situation, you are consuming 2 tons of the waste, and some people are producing 30, sorry, consuming 30 tons. So it is the nature tendency for anybody who's consuming 2 tons to raise their consumption up to 30. So that is the drive for the resource extraction and resource scarcity and price and volatility, loss of biodiversity, and it results to greenhouse gases, land degradation, water pollution, and air pollution. I hope I'm making it clear. So about the contribution of greenhouse gas, wastewater and waste contributes around 2.8 and commercial building is 7.9. So here these 2 things, the one is residential building and the wastewater. We have potentials to reduce our consumption, especially with the building. The recycled material play a major role in reducing these impacts. On the transportation, there are crucial role to play with the clubbing of resources, clubbing of vehicles, and bringing the policy changes, making the resources uniformly available will reduce the need for transportation. And for agriculture, more intensified agriculture produces more amount of products and agricultural products, and the wastage is also huge. So we have to optimize the demand and the production process. And forest, again, the forest is accounting carbon sequestration process, but still it's also emit amount of greenhouse gases, and the amount of the sequestration is really good than the depletions. So we need to consider all these sectors to reduce our resource consumption to enable, for which we need to enable the recycling. So solid waste generation rate, as I said earlier, it is about the resource we used, and this is about the waste we generate, 0.01 to 0.08 from various countries, from low underdevelopment to developed countries. So these are the per capita footprints we have been generating from income country to high income country. So one thing is very clear, that when we are started getting rich, our consumption is higher, our waste generation is also higher. And all this results to 60% of reduction of global biodiversity loss on the land, and many more things to show. I'll slowly move on to the circularity with the reference of Indian government and global government. They have taken a lot of initiatives for reducing the resources. So our target for recyclability, why should we recycle, and what is our target? By 2060, the Global Resource Outlook report has given that we have to slow down our global resource use by 25%, and global GDP could grow by 8%, for not for well-developed country, but for low and middle income country. But this factor should not be affected. Beside this, we have to grow 8%, and global greenhouse gas should be reduced to 90%. For this, there are several strategies being developed from various countries. So all these things are directly connected to the circularity and recyclability. So grow now, clean up later. This is the strategies so far we have been using, and we are not recycling. We think that let us generate waste, let us pollute, let not bother. Let us go for the economical development. Then we will repair everything. But the damage we cause for our development has brought a irreversible changes. So we are pumping huge amount of money to restore the resources, and that's a reason we go for recycling. I'll skip all these things. This is one simple example I'll tell you. The shell, the eggshell is, if it is broken, then you cannot, by any process, you cannot bring them in intact. Very similarly, the earth system is also very fragile. When you disturb it, it is very difficult to bring it back. So some of the definitions. So where and all we have the hope for recycle. First one is food system, second one is housing, and the third one is mobility, and the fourth one is consumer goods, and the last one is leisure, especially for the recreation purpose. So in all aspects, we can exhibit the recycling principles, or we can say circularity principles. But I wish to bring you some clarity. There is a race against plastic, but I should always politely remind you, when you are going against plastic, you should always remember, and you should always think about the alternative loads. For an idea, for packing, what all the material we use? We may use glass, plastic, paper, metal, and multi-layer plastics. In case if you are replacing the plastic with a glass, then what happen? Your resources, like say weight of the packing material, if you replace the plastic with a glass, then you may require 572 gram per kg of packing any product. So to make you clarity, if I am having 1 kg of rice, I want to pack that rice in a non-plastic packing material. So if I chose glass, then the weight of the packing material alone be half kg. So the material efficiency for different packing material is being explained here. For glass, it is half kg, and for paper, it is 51 gram, and for plastic, it is only 24 gram, and ferrous metal, it is 104 gram, and aluminum, it is 45 gram per kg. So this should be very clear for us. Why should we not completely ban the plastics, and where the problem exists with the plastics? So it is not the entity of non-plastic entity is going to give a livable solution. No, it's not that. How we are going to dispose, how we are going to manage the resources is going to give a solution rather than replacing the material. So if you are replacing the plastic with the paper, you require 51 gram of paper for carrying 1 kg of material, and that 51 kg of paper, you require huge amount of pulp, and the processing of pulp will generate huge amount of effluents. And for glass, you require huge amount of electricity and energy to bring this in the form. So it in all holistic process, if you look, the material efficiency is on stack. So sometimes we need to afford the plastics with a golden word called circularity, or very granuled, meaningful data is recyclability. So I hope you understand why should we go for recycle at this moment. So the weight of plastic, non-plastic is 381 percentage more than the plastics. In case of energy, it is more than 203 percentage of energy required for plastic should be overshooted. Then the last one is the volume. How much amount of volume of material you require for replacing the plastic is you require extra 258 percentage of material to replace the plastics. So this shows a mandate recyclability for any material, any packing material we use. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hope everything is going good, ma'am.
Yes, sir. If the
Uh,
session is very good, just I'm thinking ki maybe we won't be able to cover the much till the time we have. We also have second speaker
yes,
for the
that's right.
5
That's right.
o'clock. So if we can come for the matlab, for the most
Exactly.
important things, you.
Yes, yes, yes. I'll come to the point. This is
Yes.
the last slide on this. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is the factor of influencing consumption and lifestyle. So there are three major circles. One is determinant, and second one is the driving force, and the third one is the motivation factor. So the today's topic is actually begin from here. We need a infrastructure and we need a facilitator. So the topic covers two things. One is the landscape of recyclability and the enabler of the recyclability. So the attitude is one social component we need to reserve. Apart from the attitude, we need to work on two factors. One is the facilitator, other one is the infrastructure. So for the infrastructure, we require the technology and the physical infrastructure and the product options. So these three require more discussion. And for the another structure of the motivation factor is safety. Most of the most of the recycling process, if you look, the recycling process is unsafe and it leads to a lot of occupational health hazards. So we need to work on the safety issues. And the second thing is availability in attractive options for the recyclable material is the very major component we need to discuss. And the third thing is the design of choices of any products architecture. That is also a major role. And the last one is a system of provisions. So the system should allow the material flow. So these three components, technology, physical infrastructure, and the product options are most important parameter in the recyclability. And what it is going to enable us, First, it will ensure the safety for the product users and the product producer, and the availability. You have to have a attractiveness for the recycled product, and we should have a proper architect for the process as well as the usage of the material. And the last one is the system has to provide them a provision to enable these services. So this is about the infrastructure for recycle we require, and the facilitation is we need to provide a market condition. I'll give you one example. The plastic waste is considered. uh, if you are collecting the plastic waste and if you are making a material, for example, I did a project with an plastic recycler. We collected the plastics, we made a brick out of it, and the problem is we don't have proper marketing condition, and there is no provision from the government that time to enable the marketing of this material. The lack of standard codes may be an issue for a customers or any users to trust our product. So these are the practical issues we need to foresee in recycling scenario. The first one is marketing condition and the market price. If you are bringing a product out of recycled material, the entire cost of the recycled material has to be considered before considering the product cost. So the eco cost consumption is very important parameter, and ecosystem services and possible damages caused by the mismanagement of resources should also be accounted in selling the eco products or recyclable products. And other one is physical condition and macro boundaries. This is very important condition. The macro boundaries and physical conditions are the one which is going to decide the entire ecosystem for recycling. So what is the properties we are going to enable for procuring the material and for processing the material and for marketing the material, then the policies and the public services, and the last important component is income. So I have one slide which will give you a real idea like why it is very important. Most of the recycling human resources are being not valued properly, starting from the rag pickers, starting from the sorters, and the people who made it as a final product. Whether they are being paid properly, that is also a big question. So when we say circularity, the circularity should address appropriateness on the human values and the resource value. Only then the recyclability is appreciable. So as ma'am was saying, I just move on to the core topic. So the first one is the solid waste. I'll just go with the reference of the solid waste, then exclusively on the plastic waste. So when we talk about the solid waste, the global community have different strategies. The composting, incineration, controlled landfill, sanitary landfill, open dump, and recycling. So this is having very less potential, and you can see the present scenario. So right now I entered into the topic, so you can stop me at any moment and ask the questions. So the present scenario is this. From this, we have to bring a product. So as I was explaining about the enabling partners and the infrastructures, you can see the present scenario. This is taken 2 days before. This is taken 1 month, 1 year before, and present scenarios. So this is the present scenario. How we are going to convert them into a finishable product is the real challenge. So we will see one by one in the coming slides. So the present scenario is 23% of the total generated waste is being processed and treated. Remaining 83 is still require a proper treatment. And 72% is landfill. It means that we are having huge money being lost in the landfilling process. And we produce as 0.025 million tons of plastic per day. So if you are bringing a circularity on this one, you will get good amount of money, and we are losing the potentials. And you can see this particular drain, which is actually a irrigation canal, huge amount of plastics. And interestingly, then maybe next slide, I just shown you how much amount of plastic bottles present over there, so that you can make use of those bottles and bring a commercial value out of it, but it has been lost. So again, the same stories, but these are very important for starting point of our recyclability. What kind of plastics we are generating? This particular slide shows whatever the plastic we generated, that is going to be the part of our system, either in the form of landfill or in the water body, in the sea as well as local water bodies. Some of them are being burned, so remaining things are existing within our global system. Now, you may be not giving much importance on this one, but now I'll try to bring some values for this particular slide. So when we say plastics, where is plastic? That is very important question. Which part of the material we use is having more plastics? Every part is having more plastics, but the most one is the flexible packing. So the 42% of the flexible packing where you are using the plastics, which is having huge potential for recycling, and that we need to enable. You may ask me a question, why we are not bothered much about the other part of the waste, which is non-plastics, say for example, food and other biodegradable material. The point of food and other biodegradable materials are they have a lot of potentials, but if you don't take care also, it will take care of its own with minimal impacts. But the plastic fate is different. They are going to be there with us for long. So it have another potential that you can decide the recyclability with an cushion of expanding the time. But whereas in the case of a biodegradable waste like a food and other green, you need to immediately look into the solution, and we have to find it. I'll show a few slides for the circularity or recycling of biodegradable waste too. There are two options, and I'll explain that later. So these slides will give you an idea. The flexible packing is more recyclable, and we have another high recyclable value material called rigid packing. So flexible material volume is higher, but the percentage is also higher, but the volume is tremendously more than the mass consideration. The second one is volume is comparatively less than the previous one, but uh, it is settled somewhere. We need to find where it is settled. And one more thing is to make the plastics flux rigid, what component they added, what kind of problem it is going to create. That is the second part. And the third one is the building and construction. So it is embedded with the existing infrastructure. So until the infrastructure is serving, it is going to be there. And the last one is agriculture. Every term it is going to be generated, like mulching, packing, all such things comes under this particular part. So like products like agricultural tools have these products. So all these are being stacked at one moment, but this is recurring. These are rest of the things are stacked. So we need to develop a strategies for recycle. Accordingly, we can collect back the things in a proper circularity, in a establishing the reverse logistics. This one is the polymer. This is actually about the sectors. This is about the polymers. What kind of polymer we use as a plastic in the various sectors. So largely we have LDPE. So the circularity on LDPE is most required for conserving the ecosystem. Whereas in the case of economy, if you want to get more money, then you can think of other like a PPE and peers. So a PVC, again, you have to give a money to treat them. So there are different strategies we need to handle, and the general word called the plastics cannot serve the purpose anymore if you are not considering into the polymer family. So this is the polymer family. We have different materials generally being used. To be very frank, these materials are not alone be there. It have lot of additives that is going to be the functionality of any material. So we call it as engineered plastics. First, we should identify what kind of engineered plastic we have to begin with the recycle process. So again, these are the what I just skip this. I'll come to this one. Fast moving consumer goods. So this is Indian population is higher, so we have huge impact on the fast moving consumer goods. For example, Pondicherry itself have huge amount of sachets. I'm just taking Pondicherry as an example just to make you understand the scale of problem with every other places. Pondicherry is a moderate place where we have good strategies on waste collection and treatment, a decent collection process being incorporated in the municipal system. Even then, the leakages are unmanageable. We have huge leakages of sachets. I've been working with the leakage assessment, so I could hard spot the places where we have huge leakages. So where and all we need to enable the recycling, what kind of products we need to bring into recyclability is a big question. So to begin with, I just introduced FMGC, means fast moving consumer goods. There are three categories. One is food and beverages. Number two, home and personal care products. Number three, consumer health. I'll give you one example. Food and beverages, let's say milk packet. Milk packet is generally a virgin plastics, so it is very readily been usable. There are several milk packet projects are there. There is a woman called Paridwala. I hope her name is that. I forgot her project called Milk Bag Project. So they collect the milk bags from various communities and they wash it. I mean, the people asked to wash it and keep the bags with them, and periodically they collect it, and that collected plastics can be easily recycled because of its good quality. So we have to establish a circularity, especially with the promising word called reverse logistics. I'll introduce a new word for enabling the circularity called reverse logistics. What is mean by reverse logistics is, if milk is being produced, I mean, if it is processed from the village, it travels to a processing unit, then to the customers. Now, from the customers, the packing has to reach back to the plastic processing unit, for which we need an enabler, and the producer, the waste producer, has to perform certain handover procedure. Then it should reach the waste collector, then it should reach the waste sorter, then processing, then it goes to pre-product stages. So this is called reverse logistics. So you yourself can think how much amount of plastic you generate during the purchase of pulses, edible oil, dairy, packed food, home and personal care, and beverages with the branded or non-branded materials. This will give you a potential of policy decisions as well as the material property knowledge on enabling the recyclability. So first one is food and beverages. The outcome is you'll get virgin plastics. We need an immediate response for collection, or we need to put off the food material from the plastics. The plastic has to be segregate, or you have to be have a cleaning process from the food conducting material, then it has to be processed. So that is the condition for food and beverages. The second one is the home and personal care products, including hair care, skin care, dishwashers, and then detergents. The basic problem with these materials, they have surfactants inside. So when we are handling this material, washing is again a problem. So when hair care and skin care and dishwash and even the detergent has been collected, then bringing them as a good quality of polymer is again a challenge. We have to wash it, then only we can bring it. And collecting them from the individual houses is again a big challenging task. So we need to have a mechanism, wonderful reverse logistics, or the product design itself has to be changed to enable the recycle with the home and personal care products. Then the consumer health, again, it's again a very sensitive topic, like tablets and herbal things. The very basic problem with the this particular sector is the very material we use for packing itself creating a problem with the product interactions. So there are material which is interacting with the medicine or the content which is available there. To avoid that, we add huge amount of additives to avoid the interactions from the packing to the material present inside, for which we add certain additives which is actually delaying or which is actually complicating the recycling process. So with all this sector, when we are enabling the quality of the product which we are going to convey, the packing material has to be improvised so that there is a challenge on the recyclability. I hope you understand what I'm saying. If I'm having a milk packet, I wish to make sure that my packing printing should not leach into my milk packet, or which should not link into the milk, or any oil which I'm having a colorful outer cover, that print ink should not go into the oil or any other product being conveyed, for which I need add some additives. Those additives are challenging for recycling. Where it is challenging, the recycler, especially the one who process it, during the processing, he may have a toxic emission, or the product which you bring out of the recycle process may not be at the good quality. So we need to really work on these aspects, whether the additives to be added or how to moderate the resources, and how it can be brought without any without less impact to the occupation hazards. So these are the material: milk powder, all such things comes under food and beverages. This comes under personal care. So there are two important things. One is sale value, other is unit sold. The unit sold is 91%, but if you see the sale value, flexible materials are being huge, 91% on flexibility, less is rigid. To make you understand, if you are purchasing a shampoo, 1 liter of shampoo, the tendency is we may purchase 10 ml sachet. To be very frank, the 10 ml sachet, if you purchase 1 liter, you may save 20 rupees or 30 rupees. But if you purchase one single bottle of shampoo, you need to pay extra money. But we need to work on, if you are working on ecological cost and recyclability, this 10 ml sachet, it is very difficult for you to find and recycle. But if you understand 1 liter single block, yeah, rigid plastic is being considered, then there is a possibility for you to bring the recyclability. So a company is the company is selling more amount of material with the sachet. 91% sale value is with the sachet, which is totally non-recyclable, non-collectible, and logistic is not possible. Remaining 9% of the sale value is from rigid. So this 9% is alone having a recycle potential. So from the government side, or from the policy side, or from the social component, which you remember in the previous part, I've shown you a ring in which the social part I have shown infrastructure and the other part. So this need to be worked out, and this has to be increased, this has to be reduced. So this is one thing we should understand in this junction. I hope I'm taking some time. I'm really sorry. I wish this to be more clear for the people to start with the recycle, because
Yes.
recycle word has been understood in a different
Hello, sir.
factor. Why should we go for recycle? I can get this material immediately. For example, I prepared a chair out of waste plastics. The immediate query from the visitor was, why should I purchase this chair? I'm getting same quality of chair from the virgin material. Why should I go for it? So I should explain him, it is not the chair which I brought, but I'm arresting 100 kg of plastic enter into a drain, which is going to create a problem to the ecosystem. That cost you are ignoring. If I burnt it, you are going to get emissions of dioxin. That cost you are ignoring. If you are completely ignoring the emission cost and all ecological damages, then you say plastic is it's nothing. I can purchase a good chair for it. So these kind of social acceptance and the opportunity or provision from the system is required to make it clear. If for this particular presentation, I have taken more time on the ecological aspects. Why? Because if you don't understand what it is, if you don't have patience to understand what is the importance of ecology, you cannot understand the 5% of the discussion which is on the technology. So this is the problem. If you're not having patience to understand the resources and your problem, and it is our problem, when you're not addressing it, if you're not having mind to understand it, solution cannot be attained. There is no use of talking about technology because the same technology has brought the problem. So this is the background of my presentation. We should understand the base of it. Then we can explore the strategies for controlling that. Anyway, I understand the problem with the timing. So I just close this. This is about the share shade. Ma'am, if you don't mind, I'll just show this one example. I'll close it.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. We can have your 5 4 minutes, but yes,
Yes.
yes, you can go ahead, sir. Then few take few
I'm sorry,
questions.
my strategies of explaining thing was this. So
No, sir,
kindly
that is
accompany me.
perfectly fine, and we got the idea because, as you mentioned, that attitude is also one of the part. So we have to first correct the attitude, the behavioral change. Then we can go for facilitators and infrastructure, where the
Yes,
technology will
thank you.
come and play a role. Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. This is one simple example from our own university I've taken. The small share shed being given. Now we are going for this. I'm saying about 1 year story. So if any places, if you are having a small share shed, it is very small, so we don't consider what it is. Assume your hotel, which is selling 100 biryanis or any other noodles, and if you're there providing the share shed, then what happen is it is going to cover 3,000 square feet within a year. Like one sachet is 3 inch and 4.5 inches height. So this is the total area it is going to cover. If you weigh it, the major problem is we are misled by the weight. People report this many tons, but the problem is how much area, how much is the volume it is going to cover. So in the soil, it is going to cover 3 inches and 4.5 inches. And I'm going to shock you one more thing. So the color which is present over there, it is not, nobody knows it's a safe or not. How they got the color, we never know. And how this material is going to degrade, we never know. How many layers are there? What is the age for its degradation? Totally no idea. So this material is going to cover close to 3,000 square feet per year. So you think about a 5 year, you are going to close huge amount of landscape. And again, yeah, small strategies. Since time is not there, I just close it. This is very common to all. You all use this food stuff, right? We pack this food and we'll have this kind of bottles. And it is very simple process. We use it and throw. Say you just the lid of the food pack is 12 gram and the bottom part is 24 gram. So altogether it is 12 plus 24. You can think of how much of total gram. So you can see total altogether it is 55 gram after food you are going to discard. So what it is going to create an impact. So this is the impact. So if you are having a pet of 11.6 gram and polypropylene of 41 gram based upon the previous picture what I've shown, you may get around a huge amount of 3 kg of carbon dioxide per kg burn, and PET is 2.9 of kg per burn. So when we are talking more about the carbon emissions and additives being burned and what is the emission it is going to create, this is more dangerous. The cost, the money being spent on handling this emission is huge. We are ignoring this part, and that's the reason we are not giving importance to recycling. When you are discussing how much is the emissions come from burning the waste, for 1 to 4 picogram of TEQs, that is equivalent toxicity, which is higher than the body assimilation. Anybody who is inhale is going to get a toxic material into their body. Very unfortunately, nobody is valuing that cost of your misalignments of your health. That's a reason for recycling, we have less amount of money being spent. So we need to incorporate this factor when you are considering the recyclability. So with this, I'm trying to close this part. So this is what I'm prepared for circularity. I'll just show you in a fast way. Again, some of them are very theoretical, but I'll just show you a glimpse of it, nothing more than that. So the hope for the circularity is in Pondicherry, we got around 7.3% of plastics. So this is very important data for informal sector. They walk around 6 kilometers on foot every day. They carry 49 kgs. So this is the livelihood for them. And India, 4.41% is directly involved, and indirectly it is crossing 1% of the population. All the slides I have taken from CSE, and this is the value addition potential you have even for a milk packet, which is HIPS, a high impact polystyrene. If you give packet as such, kg is 30 rupees, and if you shred it, 35 rupees. And if it wash it and pelletize, you will get up to 95 rupees. So this is the potential for recyclability. From 30, you can get 65. From 50, you can get 95. So this value addition is what the potential for anybody who's listening that, and for different plastic, it is changing. So we have to be very careful what kind of polymer we use. This is the one slide I wish to show. The present scenario. Pondicherry municipality, there are two municipalities. Ulgarat municipality has done this work. They have studied from the informal sector. The present scenario is they are getting only 28,000 rupees. Actually, if they are paid properly, the cost for the the cost for the scrap of the plastic which we gained, the poor lady who's standing here, if she's collecting it back properly and providing that to a scrap shop, then she's supposed to get around 3 lakhs. If best price is paid, then she will be getting around 5 lakhs. So this gap from 28,000 to 3 lakhs 40,000, then to 5 lakh 19,000, this is actually being stolen from her. And who is stolen that? The biggest company who is selling the product, and they have the responsibility called EPR. If that is not enabled, then this poor lady will get only 28,000. And this is the ecosystem we are expecting from everywhere. And this is the starting point for any recycling process. It may be a technology, or it can be social intervention, or whatever it can be. Multiple reports are coming, multiple policies are coming. Still, rack pickers are rack pickers only. They are still getting very poor salary and poor remunerations. So these are some of the ideas which we trialed. So I'm closing this session. I'll open it for discussion. There are many parts we worked on. If from the flower waste, I'll tell you one more challenge with the flower recycle, because many people started working with the flower to incense stick. When I'm collecting the flower, the flower merchant told me the flowers are having heavy dose of pesticides, and they should not dry immediately, so they added some chemicals in that. So when you are preparing a incense stick out of it, and if you're burning it, then again you will be getting the same fumes. So again it's going to be another problem. So there are many multiple issues as we should actually taken care before finding the circularity. I'll open the forum for discussions.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That was really informative and inspirational also to understand full why we should be doing recycling. And I really like that it's not just we are taking up plastic, some recycled product, but we are also preventing that later to go in some natural river or some ocean, some
The
other
cloth
drains.
is very important part, ma'am. Cloth recycle is a huge. We have huge amount of cloth, but while recycling, the fibers goes to the occupants, I mean those who are working on that. So the circularity has to be well developed. I'm sorry, you can open up the discussion.
Yes. So yes, we open up the session for taking some questions from the participants.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, you can raise your hand, you can ask, or you can type the question in that chat box.
I think Ritesh Goyal has prices.
So the work actually the Pondicherry University is doing is really nice, and we would love to see something same in Pune. It's going on, but the depth of work that you have done is really remarkable. Sir.
We have few case studies just to show. We have actually assessed the festival load, how much amount of plastic is being generated, which region of festival, which part of the festival. So we have divided the plastic generation into three parts. One is the recreation, other one is a ritual, other is a domestic. So which hotspot is having more waste and what are all the risks associated with that? So far, it is just a waste. But now, after assessing that, we identified that waste is actually prone for fire issues. So when we assess it, we can understand the multiple problem associated with the waste and a recycling option, which is not nearby. So traveling, transportation on those logistics, arriving of logistics, is also a costliest process. To handle it, it requires a lot of efforts.
Yes, yes. So there is one concept. One is asking about resource decoupling. If that can be shared by you, sir, how is
Yeah,
that?
please. Yeah. You can read it out, ma'am. I couldn't read where
So
it is.
they want to know about resource decoupling.
Okay. Okay. Can I get some insights on resource decoupling?
Yeah, may I request Ritesh to kindly little elaborate that question? What do you mean by resource decoupling? Like what
I
you
got
want
the
to
question, ma'am. I
understand,
understand
like
what
within
you said.
this?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Resource decoupling, like for example, if you're having a teacup, we use paper cup thinking that it is sustainable. To bring a paper cup, how much amount of resource I require? Actually, I'm replacing a plastic cup with a paper cup, thinking that it is sustainable. But the problem is to bring a paper cup, I require huge amount of pulp for which I require huge amount of trees and cutting them, processing them and getting the things. And again, I have to have a coating and finally I have to have a cup. After disposal, it is going to degrade immediately. That is what our understanding. But the problem is what happens to the production? It takes huge amount of resources. In case if you are replacing that with a cup, like steel cup or something which is recyclable or it can be reusable, then you are saving huge amount of resources. Yesterday in an airport, they have displayed one single poster. There is a paper napkin being stacked over there, and there is a small notice. Instead of taking this paper, if you dry your hand in a dryer, you
Right.
can save huge amount of pulp generation and it is going to reduce the impact. Choose wise, like that they have mentioned. So this is a right example for creating a kind of effective awareness and also the example for resource decoupling. Ritish, I hope I understand. I have answered your question.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. And one more thing is for cloth, the polyester cloth, what we wear, or any other cloth, which is very cheaper right now. Even we can get 100 rupees, 200 rupees. But if you are requiring a cotton cloth, which requires even sometimes 1,000, 2,000, why it is costlier? Even the resources are very native. We have the resources within our country, but the polymers are coming from different countries. But still they are very cheaper. Why? Because the system has developed, industry is being developed, and the logistic has been attained, marketing has been done. So the system enable them to sell a product for good cost. And if you are interested in resource decoupling, then we have to move toward the valuing the existing system. Even people are preparing from the coir, and there are many multiple products. Even the wear they are preparing. I'm not saying everyone has to shift toward that, but that is also to be valued. Only then the holistic approach we can attain. Just by talking, it is going to begin, but we have to think about it. Then only it is going to realize the real impact.
Correct, sir. We have to adopt that also. Maybe not 100% of all the items that we have in our daily life. Maybe 20% can be coming from these kind of products.
Once again, no?
Uh, was it audible
Yeah.
to you, sir? Yes.
Ma'am, I missed your question. Sorry.
No, I was just sharing that at least 10 to 20% of all the items that we have in our daily life, some of the items can be replaced by these things, which are
Yes,
bit costly right now we see, because again, you mentioned that it's not properly developed or channelized in logistic wise industry setups and all those things. That why the other part of the thing seems little
And that ecosystem
expensive.
is developing, ma'am. Even
Yes.
yesterday, I've seen many products people are developing, and they started getting a recognition. They are able to reach the national capital with their products, and they are in the small village. And now, if you value them, and you have to put them in a mainstream market, for which we need to have an enabler. The government is having system, but the problem is lack of awareness. Like how to market it. There are many people who is interested to buy the good products, but they are not known what is good product. That is one thing. Second thing is the proper logistics is not attained to reach them, the market and e-buying, all such things to be provided. And recently I've seen people are selling a particular plant which is very rarely available in hilly areas. People started getting that and they have started selling it. So more marketing strategies were being developed. So people started taking that particular plant from the hilly area. Now it is endangered species, going to be an endangered
Exploitation, over
species.
exploitation of that
So
resource
we
that
have to be very
happen.
careful about the
Correct.
marketing things also. So we need
Yes,
to
sir. The
develop a
over
strategy.
exploitation shouldn't also happen for that
Yes.
resource. I agree with that, sir. Uh, so we have another thing. One has asked about if you can share about some affordable technology for recycling flexible packaging plastic waste.
Yeah, yes, yes, ma'am. Flexible packing, say, we do extrusion process like washing. First one is cleaning the plastics. Second thing is size reduction. And third thing is you can route to chemical recycling as well as mechanical thermo recycling. So people afford to go for chemical recycling if they are having a mass or bulk volume. And the infrastructure required for that is also very huge. So generally, people go for thermomechanical operations where you require an extrusion process within 20 lakhs. There are many facilities readily available. We can get through within small investments. Thermomechanical will help you. That is not going to completely change it. It is just melted, then immediately it will be casting. So flexi plastics along with certain additives, we can make a wonderful material. So we have one metro packing recyclers. There is the company who produce plastics. They come forward for recycling, and with their help, we started working with the recycling of plastics, and we added 40% of sand to the flexible plastics. Then with the same mix, we just made it as a cast, and which is very stronger. The paver blocks are which is stronger than the existing cement pavers. That's one idea we can do. And
Great,
now
sir.
there are many multiple attractive products are coming. They are preparing clock. They are preparing crafts for unit weight. You will get more values. The moment you make it as more artistic, then you will get more values. And
Correct.
traffic barriers and barricades and small tables and letter pads. So those kind of value-added products can be prepared from flexible plastics. If you wish, I can have a separate session on that also.
Sure, sir. That again will be very informative. We will try to have this session also soon. Thank you so much, sir. And I next we can move for the second speaker of the session. And any questions we can take at the end. I'll request to the participant. So
Thank you.
moving on to the second session, we have with us representative from Poornam Ecovision Foundation. It's a Pune-based social enterprise dedicated to advancing societal and environmental well-being through integrated work in environmental awareness, consultancy, R&D, product design, and end-to-end waste management. It has been over 12 years of experience across different states like Karnataka, Goa, and Maharashtra. Poonam Ecovision Foundation has conducted mega drives and 1,000+ community collection drives, managing tons of e-waste, plastic waste, and textile waste, which also enable them to large-scale fabric reuse and laptop refurbishment for schools. We have today with us is Dr. Manvi Singh, who leads the Center for Applied Research and Environment, vertical at Poonam Ecovision Foundation. She brings over 10 years of experience from both industry and academic. She oversees interdisciplinary research, waste management initiatives, and sustainability programs while driving partnership proposals and collaboration with government and sector stakeholders across Pune and different other states. May I now welcome Dr. Manvi Singh to this session, and we request her to take over from this.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. Very good evening. Thank you, Ms. Simpi. So it was a very nice introduction, though. And I really liked the session I attended, the last session. It was very informative and very technical also. But maybe like through that technical part, I would like to bring the audience, the attention towards to the kind of the groundwork which we are doing through our NGO support. So yeah, can I share my screen?
Sure, ma'am.
Yeah. I hope the screen is visible to everyone.
Yeah, this coming. Yes, it's coming. Yes.
Yeah,
there.
fine. So yeah, very good evening, everyone. So here, like what I've been asked to inform, like the kind of a work we are doing with the Poornam Ecovision Foundation, is that how we are converting the waste to the value products. And above all, the kind of a role the Poornam Ecovision Foundation is playing in adopting the different kind of a practices through plastic, fabric, and e-waste streams. That's how we are focusing. So moving on to this, like everyone knows that what kind of products we are using in our the daily life, and it contains of the different plastics and fabrics and everything. But where does it go? Goes, everyone knows that yes, it doesn't go anywhere. It just the changes the location from our home to maybe the landfill. So here comes in the the focal point, like how much waste is being generated. So there is this one kind of the symbol, the Qutub Minar, which is one of the tallest brick monuments of India, which is approximately 72.5 meters tall. And another picture shows the Ghazipur landfill site in Delhi, and it is towering like approximately 69 meters. So we are just the matching the height of the Qutub Minar. I'm just telling you this just to focus the kind of a waste we are generating. And of course the bioremediation process is not this much of fast the way we are generating it every day. So moving this, like sorry, just a second. So why we are talking about the waste, like I think that in the last session I have read multiple slides at what kind of a waste we are generating and how much of waste we are generating. Of course we are developing at a very fast pace, and with this development we are rapidly generating or the waste consuming a lot of things, and digitalization, and increasing waste. So yes, the numbers say some different stories as 62 million tons of the solid waste we are generating, and the important part or the significant part of this, that only 60 to 70% is collected and less than 30% is scientifically processed. I think in the last session we got the idea that how much we are processing. So yes, in the continuing with that, if we talk about that, how much waste in each of the plastic waste, e-waste or textile waste. So here are the few numbers. We can see that annual generation of India is plastic की अगर हम बात करें 9.3 million tons है, and e-waste is reaching approximately 1.4, and textile is 7.07, which is very huge. So due to the fast fashion and all the consumption pattern and the growth in trends and urbanization. So basically the real challenge about handling this waste is it is getting mixed. All the organic and inorganic waste is coming together and get mixed. And if we know that, yes, why we are we are getting the mixed waste. But what happens once the waste get mixed? Now, it becomes really difficult to recycle, upcycle, or compost. Means anything. The practices or the sustainable practices out of this waste becomes the efficiency becomes very low, or the percentage becomes very low. So here when it got mixed, it goes to the landfill, and of course it leads to greenhouse gases emissions like CO2, methane, everything, and overall contributing the global warming. So here I have just set the context for you all. So what we are doing, like what Poornam Ecovision are doing. So we have focused on three important, the pillars: the environmental conservation, the people participation, and livelihood generation. I have heard in the last session that there is a policies in place, there is a systems in place, but what is the problem? Like the participation, the awareness is very less among the people, and the understanding about the waste, or the waste can be taken as a resource. Yes, all these things are lacking across the country. So here plays the Poornam Ecovision's roles. So quickly, I just want to tell that what Poornam Ecovision Foundation, and then I'll explain that how we are doing the work. We've been the registered NGO in 2014 and under Section 8 company, and we have a one-stop solution provider for sustainable development. And if you see the focus areas for the Poornam is the waste management, plastic e-waste and fabric waste. Wet waste we are also doing, yes. We are also doing generating the livelihood and through upcycling and recycling. And all these activities play a critical role or with the support of the environmental education IEC, which is a very core part of our organization. And we have also a research angle to this, like the applied research and sustainable waste practices. So here we have a certain impacts, of course, that you all can read this. But we have a multiple mega drives conducted, thousands plus small drives, 400 tons of e-waste, 35 tons of plastic waste, everything. So these are the things we have done, and we have a CSR funders also. So yes, I was discussing about the problem. The problem is like what we have seen, or that what we have as a Poornam observed, that no way to donate or dispose of. Like if I'm having the laptop, or if I'm having the old non-working electronic item. So what would I do? Either I donate, or I would try to change it with some, or buyback policies. There are certain things, and sometimes I've seen the people dumping it off into the their dustbins, or given to the vendors, like all the waste picking team. So yes, this is the one thing. And waste is you seen as a useless, because आप एक बार waste को देखते हो, you feel like, oh, waste is waste. But no, for us, waste is a resource. And we always talk about people wanted to do like something about the waste, but they are not getting the idea that how they can contribute, and they are not getting the support. So here the Poornam strategic intervention comes in. Like we play very simple role. We provide the doorstep community collection centers. During our mega drives, we provide this facility to each of the targeted areas, so that we can collect the waste. आपके घर से ही आपका सामान ले लिया जाता है in fabric waste, e-waste, or maybe the plastic waste. All three waste being collected. We provide such facility. We also add the value to the products and convert into or create into the new products by upcycle and by composting to the organic product. So we develop some kind those things. We repair and refurbish and donate. This is one simple methodology which we have adopted since last 12 years. Just to we try to repair the electronic items to the level or the possibility it could repair and becomes the working model for refurbished, and we donate it. This is the one thing. And we also give the trainings to the specialized self-help groups, the small the underprivileged women. So this is the one thing we are doing. And all those simple solutions we are providing, which we have seen in the last slide, through these verticals. You can see that the E-Antran, Paripoornam, Green Consultancy, Voluntary Engagement Program, and the PCAD, all these 6 are the verticals of Poornam. So each vertical has, yes.
Yes, मैं मानू जी एक्चुअली शायद वीडियो थोड़ा सा लैग कर रहा है, मैं प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं हो पा रही है, मे बी नेट का.
Okay. Shall I switch off my video?
Yes, maybe आप वीडियो ऑफ करें तो मे बी इट विल.
Okay, just a second. Can you see the PF project slide now?
Yeah, but it's not very clear. थोड़ा सा.
Okay. Now it is clear, because I think.
Are you able to see? Okay, yes, your presentation, but थोड़ा सा clear नहीं है. It's coming up. थोड़ा सा hazy है.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can continue my video.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just explaining that while providing those simple solutions, we have designed these many verticals where we specially focus each of the waste we are collecting and processing. So like e-Antran is for the e-waste. We have a lot of awareness sessions, collection centers, segregation, refurbishment, donation. And after the refurbishment and donation, whatever the waste is collected, we have already network with the certified recyclers and we donate all those items. We send all those remaining items to the recyclers. Similarly, the Paripoornam project is all about the fabric teams. Like whatever the fabric we are collecting, we are sorting and upcycling those the waste fabrics into some new products. We create those new products, and for that we train our team, and which is the self-help groups. And we also promote and sell our items, whatever the fabric items. Similarly, in green consultancy, we focus on the composting, rainwater harvesting, and we also provide the home compost kit, which is one of our good services for the residential areas. Next comes the volunteer engagement. So volunteer engagement is a kind of engagement from the student, corporate, or the general volunteer, wherein the students from different colleges take voluntarily participation with the Poornam's projects for 3 months or 4 months, and they play their roles and they take the experience and they go. So that kind of a thing. And the P-Care is all about the research angle, like the kind of a sustainability services we are providing, research internship we are providing, sustainability courses we are offering. We are also offering the environmental audit services. So this angle is for that, this vertical is for that purpose. So yes, while I have seen like many of you have been already understood the linear economy and circular economy, but I will give you the one simple, just like how the take, make, use, throw becomes the linear, which is the old model, and how shall the circular economy work in our system. Like I'm only talking about the Poornam Ecovision. We try to reduce it through awareness. We reuse it once we get it. We try to repair it once we get it through our collection center, like maybe e-waste or the fabric, and we recycle it and recover. So the kind of activities we do. So basically we work on 3 important principles: eliminate the waste and pollution, circulate the products and materials at their highest values, and regenerate the nature as much as possible. So this is the one thing we plan and we have incorporated in our system. So moving further, this is the very important slide because it shows all that how we do this, and what type of practices we are following in all 3 loops. So here comes the 3 loops: the fabric loop, the e-waste loop, and the plastic loop. The fabric loop means like the drives during the Diwali, the festive seasons, or maybe the any occasional seasons. We keep our drives wherein we marketize our awareness drives in advance, or promote our awareness drives in advance. And we have scattered through Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Goa, and we practice, we make the centers and we circulate the centers list with the local team. They start collecting the fabric waste on the specified day. After the collection, we sort it at our head office, and then we sort and we design or we make the cloths according to their environmental impacts. Like for example, denim at one place, the cotton, silk sarees, whatever we get, we take every item, every fabric, and we try to convert that those fabric waste into the product. And then we have a specified team for designing the products, and then we develop a new product. After the product development, we also market launch our product. So this is one of the Paripoornam project. So we have a full-fledged women team involved in this fabric loop. Similarly, the e-waste, we have recently conducted the Pehel drive. The Pehel is a Poornam's initiative. So Pehel and e-Antar are both for the plastic and e-waste. So wherein we again set the centers at targeted locations. We sort, we refurbish as much as possible, and we donate. So donation is being done with the schools, all the government schools, whomsoever is involved in this process, or if they have sent us the request that they need 10 laptops for their students or their lab. So we provide those refurbished laptops to those schools, and if the waste remains with us, then we give it back to the authorized recycling units. We have a few networks of the recyclers with us, which are LPCB and CPCB based. Similarly, so this kind of a model we adopted till now. So here you all can see that how the work is going, what kind of products we are doing. So in the first picture, this is the DTDC model, like where we are using, which we are using for the collection. So basically, we have seen that the people are not capable and they are not aware where to donate, how to donate, or if you are providing the services to their doorstep. So it becomes easy for them also to participate in such a or contribute for the environmental purpose. So that's how the idea or the plan is to take from them, and also provide the livelihood to other team, the women's team. We provide the training to them. We provide the basic and advanced training to this team, different kind of a work, and then the products come out. That's the idea. Similarly, if you see the e-waste and the plastic waste, we use a DTDC thing, and we ask everyone to donate at one day, and we always try to keep the drives on the 15th August, 26th January, or maybe the holiday, so that if each of the family member can be aware, or the family, or they can participate. किसी को भी problem नहीं हो regarding participation. And we have a go downs, we keep, and we after collection we do audit of all the e-waste items. We do audit for the brands which we have collected, and then we try to refurbish as much as possible, and then we plan to send the recyclers for the donation. Like you can see the plastic benches, which is done. Of course, it is done through the CSR support from different organizations. But the product is the final product is in front of all you. So like these benches, and there are multiple products. So yeah, the major key takeaway from this message is like waste is not useless. It is kindly mismanaged, which I have already mentioned in the first or second slides. And the sustainability creates career and business also. The entrepreneurship is one of the very important aspect for all of the students, like how they can create the scope for the business. So we have like green entrepreneurs are the problem solvers for us. And who can change all these things, like the drivers of the change can be the students, or all the young minds who are at adolescent age. They absorb well and they understand the concept well. So these are all the volunteers. So you can see all the volunteers from different colleges, universities are the taking part with us. And yeah, so with this, I close my session. This was very quick and very, fast, I know. Here are the few email IDs, like the volunteer email ID, internship email ID, and the website ID. You can take a picture of this. And as I mentioned that we are also running the courses. So this is one course which is on Sustainable Development Goals, Indian context. We are starting it from tomorrow. It is in collaboration with the Maharaja Sayaji Rao University of Baroda. So if anyone wants to register, they can think today. We are closing by today 12 for registration. So yeah, I'm open for the questions if anyone is having.
Yes, thank you, Manviji. Thank you for the quick understanding and like what should I say, timeline of Poornam and how it's been doing its the fabulous work. I myself have came to know about the first March drive, the mega drive that the Poornam has done recently. So I would like to know about the how been in Pune myself is quite new last 1 to 2 years, but I have seen Swachh also. Yeah, the Swachh workers. So how you see where their work ends and how you see your and Swachh workers merging. Like they are also collecting waste. They also like they regularly collect. They have the daily drive of dry and wet waste collection. Plus their places of to submit or deposit cloth, e-waste and other things stuffs. So how or what they are doing after collection? Are they also doing making some value added products, or what's their channel of work? If you are given an idea about that.
Okay, so maybe the initial phase of work for both of us might be the same, but for us is like end-to-end process. Like if we are collecting the waste, we know where to take it. We are converting that waste into the usable products or the utility products, or we are utilizing. We are just not trying to stopping the waste going to the landfills. We are not into that. We are just converting that because of the environmental. We have already seen the numbers of carbon emissions or the emissions, like kind of like one jeans requires approximately 7,000 to 10,000 liters of water. So what number of wears cannot even justify the one jeans in terms of the water footprint or the carbon footprint. So we are trying to reduce that impact by converting them into the product. So that is the initiative, or that is the vision of the Poornam Ecovision Foundation. It's not only collecting, it has to convert it in some kind of a product which can increase the lifespan of that particular raw material. So we are focusing at that angle. For example, like there are, in terms of fabric waste, I'm telling this, like in terms of the plastic waste, whatever the plastic waste is being collected, like recently we have been collaborated with MNGL. So for MNGL, we are producing the sheets, plastic sheets. And whatever the product they want from us, we are basically working on that. For example, they have recently asked to design the cabins, cabins for their teams. Even in Poornam also we have designed the cabins. So that plastic sheets have been used. So I think one chair or one bench requires 80 kg of plastic goes into that. So that's the way we are just converting or I would say that increasing the lifespan of that product, the waste. So this is how we are doing. And here we have a full control, like from collecting to logistics to our godowns to our team who is converting the product, and then again we are launching our products into the market. We are donating it to the underprivileged schools, and we are sending to the recyclers, and we have the certificates from the recyclers that how much amount have been sent, what type of metals have been recovered from those waste which we have shared with them. So these are the kind of a work we are doing.
Okay. And how you think since Poornam Vision is for last 1 decade, so the role of Pune Municipal Corporation or Pimpri Chinchwad Corporation, how they are supporting these drives, because these also help them a section of solid waste management. Otherwise, all that waste that you are collecting and making it a value-added product would have gone into the waste. Just not dry and wet, because people are still not aware what to put in dry waste. Correct. Like paper or wet waste is still having just kitchen waste to be biodegradable and wet waste, but dry waste still we don't have much. So other than kitchen, all the thing is done in the dry waste. So making awareness and all these drives which are done by your foundation, how much support or do you think where they can come and make some changes in policy or some small regulations where it can be helpful for your organization?
Yeah, basically, through my experience with the Poornam, I've seen that whenever we have a drives with any of the targeted areas or the cities, approximately 25 cities we are targeting. So the corporations from each of the cities are very positive, because somewhere we are helping them in sorting and placing the waste. The point is that integrating this kind of data into their data set, and to bring out some policy based on our work. We are still working upon that. See, like for example, PCMC and PMC, they both have a different corporations. So somewhere like PMC is supporting in multiple places to Poornam Ecovision Foundation. So we are doing, the maximum number of drives, awareness sessions, and we have a good network over there. We are also trying to build up the same with the PCMC. Still, we are lacking in sort of, the collaborations and the alignment with their working style or the thought process. Not thought process, of course, the working style. So we are trying to all those from our end also. So yes, we have a Nasik in our hand, Nandurbag is there. So we have multiple cities where we are working in collaboration with the ULBs. So they are supporting it very well.
Yes. Any other question from the participants? We can raise that.
I think there is one who's asking something.
Okay, one thing I would, one question is there, how about the textile waste are recycled other than donation? So I think you have already covered that. You have shown us various products that can be made from fabric. So these are the items available with Poornam. I myself is having 1 or 2 items from your foundation. So they are good. Anyone
Can I
else?
have one question?
Yes.
Yeah, ma'am. Really a good presentation, and you have been working a lot. Happy to see that, ma'am. One question I have is, if any institutions, like most of the hostels in the education institutions, when they are leaving the hostel room, they may leave their clothes because they don't want to carry all the things. So every hostels, irrespective of any institutions, they have huge amount of cloth at the end of the every year, academic year. So, is there any proper supply chain the institution can enable with the institutions like of yours, so that they can take the cloth
They can.
regularly? Any MOUs kind of thing, any format is available, I'll be happy to connect with you, because our
Yeah.
institution is also having a problem. So
Okay.
I need to have some lights on that.
Yeah. Yes, we always try to connect with the institutions, and we do MOUs also for different things. And if you can write us to on this, like we will try to connect in your state also, because we are already working in Bangalore. So we are trying to expand more in the Karnataka, and may reach to your state also. So yeah, that is not an issue. Like we can plan the visit in your institute in advance, if we have the idea that what, how, when you are leaving, when your students are leaving, how much waste we are being collected, and the different questions, the logistics can be managed. So all these things can be materialized from our end, but we need a prior discussion, what you need, and what type of cloth is being generated from your the, I'm not generated, I would say, the waste being dropped by the students. So yeah, we are open for MOUs. That's not an issue.
Thank you, ma'am. Very shortly, I can discuss with you in this regard.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Manviji. As the
Yeah.
last thing we are taking up. So any questions further can be shared with her on the email ID.
Yes.
I'll now request Komal from our team to share vote of thanks for the webinar. I sincerely thanks both of the speaker for the session. Yes, Komal, over to you.
गुड इवनिंग ऑल. मैं कोमल शिंदे EICP केंद्र भारतीय उष्ण देशीय मौसम विज्ञान संस्थान IITM पुणे की ओर से आज ग्लोबल रिसाइकलिंग डे 2026 के अवसर पर आयोजित इस वेबिनार में आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत और धन्यवाद करती हूँ. डॉक्टर सतलाई इज असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर सेंटर फॉर पॉपुलेशन कंट्रोल एंड एनवायरमेंटल इंजीनियरिंग पौंडीचेरी यूनिवर्सिटी का हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ, जिन्होंने आज ग्लोबल रिसाइकलिंग डे के अवसर पर अपने ज्ञानवर्धक और प्रेरणादायक विचार हम सभी के साथ साझा किए. आपने अपने वक्तव्य में रिसाइकलिंग में महत्व को बहुत ही सरल और प्रभावी तरीके से समझाया. आपने यह बताया कि रिसाइकलिंग केवल कचरे का पुनः उपयोग नहीं है, बल्कि यह पर्यावरण और संरक्षण की दिशा में एक महत्वपूर्ण कदम है. आपके विचारों ने हमें रिसाइकलिंग के प्रति जागरूक किया और यह प्रेरणा दी कि हम सभी अपने दैनंदिन जीवन में छोटे छोटे प्रयासों के माध्यम से पर्यावरण संरक्षण में योगदान दे सकते हैं. साथ ही मैं डॉक्टर मानवी सिंह पूर्णम इकोविजन फाउंडेशन का भी हार्दिक धन्यवाद करती हूँ, जिन्होंने स्पेशल इंटरेक्शन सेशन वेस्ट वैल्यू रिसाइकलिंग प्रैक्टिसेस के माध्यम से अपने बहुमूल्य अनुभव और व्यवहारिक जानकारी हमारे साथ साझा की. आपके सत्र ने हमें यह समझाने में मदद की कि किस प्रकार कचरे को संसाधन में बदलकर सतत विकास को बढ़ावा दिया जा सकता है. मैं हमारे EICP कोऑर्डिनेटर डॉक्टर लता आर मैडम का भी विशेष धन्यवाद करती हूँ, जिन्होंने इस कार्यक्रम को सफल बनाने के लिए निरंतर मार्गदर्शन और प्रोत्साहन दिया. साथ ही मैं IITM PCRP केंद्र पुणे की और पूरे टीम का आभार व्यक्त करती हूँ, जिन्होंने इस वेबिनार के आयोजन, तकनीकी समन्वय, डिजाइनिंग और प्रचार प्रसार में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभाई. अंत में मैं सभी प्रतिभागियों, शिक्षकों, विद्यार्थियों एवं दर्शकों का हार्दिक धन्यवाद करती हूँ, जिन्होंने अपने बहुमूल्य समय निकालकर इस महत्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रम में सहभागिता की. आइए हम सभी मिलकर रिसाइकलिंग की आदतों को अपनाएं और पर्यावरण संरक्षण के लिए छोटे छोटे प्रयासों का अपने जीवन का हिस्सा बनाइए. धन्यवाद.
Thank you, Komal. I thank everyone, and thank you for the session.
I just want to.
Thanks for all.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
MSCB, can you share the feedback with the students if possible?
Yes, I have shared in that link.
Okay.
I'll share with all the participants, like those who have shared the email. I'll share this in the
Sure.
further email.
Thank you. Okay, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.